Alright, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from Street Scores, and it is official. Ryan Fitzpatrick has been placed on the injured reserve list. So for at least the minimum next 3 weeks, Taylor Heineke will be our starting quarterback. That's if he can stay healthy. But as of right now, we know for a fact we won't have Ryan Fitzpatrick back for at least the next 21 days. Remember, the new IR rules state that first of all, you can return an unlimited amount of players back from IR. And also, IR isn't an 8-week thing anymore. It's a minimum of 21 days, 3 weeks now. So at the very soonest, we'll see Ryan Fitzpatrick is against the New Orleans Saints. And again, that's best case scenario at this point as far as his health. Maybe not for everybody, because there are a lot of people that prefer Taylor Heineke as the starting quarterback. So that's not necessarily best case scenario for that group of people. But best case scenario as far as Ryan Fitzpatrick's health is literally the Saints game on August 10th. And then that's a tough stretch after that. I mean, it's Saints, Chiefs, Packers, Broncos, bye week, Buccaneers, Panthers, Seahawks, Raiders. And then immediately after that, it's the 5 division games back to back. Cowboys, Eagles, Giants. Like, golly, that schedule is crazy. But yeah, man, I'm going to break down and analyze everything that's going down with this Ryan Fitzpatrick information. There's some more to update on it. Are we going to sign a quarterback from the outside? Rivera has updated that as well, along with the quarterback that we've already signed to our practice squad as of right now, because I believe Steven Montez went to another team, so he wasn't even an option. And how does Rivera feel about Taylor Heineke starting? All of that and more, but before we dive into that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get a notification immediately, and every time I release an informative and opinionated video like this one. I'm about to get to this all-22 film to dissect what went wrong and also what went right against the Chargers on Sunday. So definitely be on the lookout for some film sessions concerning, maybe a specific player or maybe a specific idea like third and longs, things like that. So I'm definitely going to rewatch this game top to bottom. Expect some more content as far as that goes. Some real in-depth breakdowns of what happened. But without further ado, let's get it. Alright, so first of all, the Washington football team is officially placing quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick on the injured reserve, and it happened today. He suffered a right hip injury against the Chargers, as everybody knows, after Charles Leno completely failed his blocking assignment. It's not even like he missed it mentally. He just got beat, just straight up beat. And it is confirmed that he did suffer a hip subluxation. The MRIs confirmed it. But again, like I said before the intro, being placed on IR does not mean you're gone for the entire year. Now, that's not necessarily ruled out, like I spoke about yesterday in my Ryan Fitzpatrick injury update video, that he's 38. So we kind of have to assume the worst when it comes to injuries. If this was Justin Herbert, who got tackled the exact same way from behind by Ryan Fitzpatrick out of nowhere by surprise and all of that, not only maybe does he not get hurt, but even if he does suffer the same injury, maybe he's not out as long as a Ryan Fitzpatrick. Again, Ryan Fitzpatrick is 38 years old, man, and he already looks slower just in the pocket more than I'm normally used to seeing him move around the pocket. The age is definitely catching up to him, so don't be surprised if this injury that may take normally like 5 weeks to recover from for a younger, more athletic quarterback takes Ryan Fitzpatrick all year, or like 8 to 12 weeks or something like that. So we still got to look into it. Again, like I explained in the intro, the injured reserve is a minimum of 21 days, 3 weeks. So at the very least, we won't see him until the Saints game. But even then, even if best case scenario, he's healthy for that game, if Taylor Heineke's balling out, I don't see how you cut off that momentum. If Taylor Heineke beats the Giants, especially beats the Bills, and goes and beats the Falcons after that, I don't know how you just kill that momentum. Plus, Ryan Fitzpatrick, if any starting quarterback is used to being the backup quarterback and brought in when necessary, is Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's done it for several teams. He just did it for Tua, where Tua was technically the starter, but sometimes they will bench him for Ryan Fitzpatrick. If anybody's used to playing quarterback musical chairs within a season, it's Ryan Fitzpatrick. So it's not like you're hurting his ego by keeping Taylor Heineke going if the offense is moving, it's flowing, and we're winning games. It sucks to go down because of an injury and never get your job back, but hey, Tyrod Taylor to Justin Herbert. How Tom Brady ended up getting the starting job for the Patriots. It happens a lot. Hey man, it's life. Whoever's winning is winning. I mean, even Doug Williams, the year that he won the Super Bowl, he was the hot hand. Why would you stop him? But Ron Rivera spoke about the injury and said they're still getting second opinions on the severity of the injury. So they don't even know how long Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to be on the IR yet. But whenever he's ready, they can just literally bring him back like immediately, as long as it's after 21 days. I'm pretty sure it will be again because of his age and things like that. And the fact that they're speaking to multiple doctors. It sounds like they may have gotten bad news and they want to go check other doctors to make sure that that bad news is not necessarily the case. I don't know. The fact that they're speaking to multiple doctors, it's a good thing. They're doing their due diligence. But at the same time, it sounds like they're just looking for anybody to say, it's not that bad actually. It sounds like they're going to doctors and it actually is that bad. But it's kind of time to stop talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick. We still have a season to play. It's only been one game. We're only 0-1. It's only one loss. No time to panic. The only team in the NFC East that won this past week is the team pretty much all of us thought would be the worst team in the division. The guys who we thought were our toughest competition, the Giants and especially the Cowboys, all lost this week as well. We're all on even footing as a division other than the Eagles. So there's no time to panic. And again, I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick is at least done for 21 days. There's no use in talking about him anymore. It's time to move on to Taylor Heineke and how well he's going to play for us and hopefully lead us to some wins and repeat as division champions. Or at least put us in position to if Ryan Fitzpatrick were to come back. But Rivera loves Heineke. He said that some guys just have the ability to create energy. And you can see it. We just played more inspired football once Taylor Heineke came in. He plays with his hair on fire, and he's a gunslinger. And Rivera said that he's excited to see what Heineke can do. This is not the typical our starting quarterback got hurt, and now we got to go to our backup to start some important games. I mean, this Giants game is technically must win because like I've already said, this schedule is so tough. If we start off 0-2 going into this Chiefs game and against the Buccaneers, the Seahawks, the Bills, all of these other great teams we still have to play, it's going to be ugly. We have to win the less hard games. I don't even want to say easier because the Giants aren't an easy opponent. The Chargers weren't an easy opponent, as we could clearly see by the L. But those teams, in comparison to the other teams that we're going to end up having to face in that middle of the season stretch, they were technically the easier teams. And it's crazy too, because if Taylor Heineke comes out here balling and just retains the starting job even when Ryan Fitzpatrick gets back healthy, just imagine how legendary he will be here. I mean, all of the hype behind Colt McCoy, and he never really won a lot of games for us. He won like that one big game Thanksgiving. That was huge. But overall, if Taylor Heineke can lead us to another division victory, the first time it's happened back-to-back for any team in the NFC East in a long time, man, he's going to be royalty in the DMV area. And Taylor Heineke has some ability to do that. Again, his slight injury proneness worries me. His lack of height worries me. And then his gunslinger ability, I love it. But that throw to Terry McLaurin was an awful throw. There was a lot of luck there. And then also a mix of Terry McLaurin just being a top 10 receiver in the NFL, like he deserves his credit for being. But you just got to live with that. You're going to have some ups and some downs with a guy with a play style like that. And then the thing I'm most worried about is what's going to happen when teams finally game plan towards stopping him. I mean, being a short quarterback is honestly a big weakness to have. And I just hope Taylor Heineke will still look the same, play with the same amount of confidence, be that same gunslinger and playmaker once teams are literally game planning to stop him specifically and to take away what he likes to do the most and to force him to make plays that he's not comfortable with making, which is more than likely trying to keep him in the pocket. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad pocket passer, but with him being so short, being able to see over those gargantuan offensive linemen and defensive linemen is difficult. That's why Drew Brees is so amazing, because at least with Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, those guys make a lot of their plays out of the pocket. They're short, but, I mean, when there's nobody in front of you, what does being short matter? But Drew Brees, with him being as short as he was in the pocket, I'm still not exactly sure how he did it. Hopefully Taylor Heineke can remake that magic, or, I mean, he's not as quick or as fast as a Russell Wilson or a Kyler Murray, but he does like to make plays outside of the pocket. But hopefully we can game plan to put him into situations where he can continue to make those plays and not allow a defense to hone on, forcing them to stay in the pocket. But over these last two seasons, with the little bit of games he's played, he's been 49 for 78, 565 yards, 3 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. Again, that throw to Terry McLaurin should have been intercepted. And he has an 82.4 Pro Football Focus grade so far. And that's really good. And to be honest, Taylor Heineke is not one of my biggest concerns. Now, I am a firm believer that we need a franchise quarterback. I've been saying this for years. I wanted to trade up in last year's draft. I'm down to trade up this next year's draft with a lot of the guys I like. I'm a Carson Strong, Matt Corral, Malik Willis type of guy. Just because, again, I'm not blaming that loss on Taylor Heineke at all. He was one of our very few bright spots, and he was good, but he wasn't Justin Herbert. Having a Taylor Heineke is great, but your goal should be Justin Herbert. Should be Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson before all of the craziness. I still think if you take away quarterback, we have the better roster on paper. We're more talented as a team, but Justin Herbert just outplayed us. I mean, a lot of those plays, it was good coverage with the corners and the safeties. Benjamin St-Juste never just truly got, other than like zone and not understanding his responsibility. If it was man coverage, Benjamin St-Juste was there at least every time. It was just a tough catch by the receiver and a great, like, just not too many guys can do that throw from Justin Herbert. Having a franchise quarterback makes up for a lot of the holes on your team. Those guys can just carry your team, and we saw that in full display yesterday. Taylor Heineke was good, and then you also have to blame Scott Turner a little bit for it as well, because Taylor Heineke was doing his thing. Penalties hurt us very bad at clutch times. I mean, right when we're about to get to the red zone, penalty take us pretty much out of field goal range. That sucked. I mean, we'd be moving the ball from our own 20 all the way to their 40. Penalty just ruins all of the momentum and things like that. But it seemed like Scott Turner kind of took the game out of Taylor Heineke's hands at a certain point. He just didn't trust him to pull a Justin Herbert. He didn't even really give him the full opportunity to go Justin Herbert and to literally just carry the team on his back. So it's like slightly Taylor Heineke's fault on that end and also slightly Scott Turner's. Again, I don't think Taylor Heineke is Justin Herbert, and that's probably the reason why Scott Turner didn't want to allow Taylor Heineke to just be completely in the driver's seat, and that's why we need a franchise quarterback. Scott Turner, of course, again, needs to trust Taylor Heineke more. He's just going to have to if we have any chance of winning these games. You got to open up the playbook. You got to let him go out there, win you the game, lose you the game, whatever. But Justin Herbert is Justin Herbert, and at the end of the day, he won that game. I don't think the Chargers as a whole outplayed us that badly at all. I mean, their receivers were making plays. Their offensive line did a really good job. But generally, it was literally just the difference of Justin Herbert from Ryan Fitzpatrick and Taylor Heineke. And the Chargers just gave Justin Herbert the keys. Like, go win us this game. We're not about to hold you back, suppress you in any way. Go win us this game. Justin Herbert being the guy that he is, won that game. It's that simple. Justin Herbert made plays. We didn't, at least to a certain extent. But at the end of the day, my original point was that Taylor Heineke, honestly, is not my biggest worry moving forward. I think Taylor Heineke's definitely going to at least play well enough to win games. Granted, I don't necessarily think he's just this franchise quarterback that can just make up for all of your holes with the lack of linebackers that we have, with the lack of receivers separating at times yesterday, with the lack of consistent O-line play and things like that. Justin Herbert type of guys can make up for that and still win you football games. I'm not sure if Taylor Heineke's that good, but Taylor Heineke, if we play a good game, if everybody does their job, is definitely good enough to go win us games this year and have us repeat as NFC East champions. So again, my worry moving forward is not necessarily Taylor Heineke, even though for the reasons I've already explained on how teams are going to game plan for him with his height, with his lack of arm strength and things like that, it could get a little dangerous for him. But overall, it's the rest of this team, honestly. I mean, we can talk about quarterbacks all day. And again, a franchise quarterback can make up for all of the holes we have. I mean, if you plot Deshaun Watson without all of the craziness going on right now on this team, we're Super Bowl contenders. Even that team yesterday, we beat the Chargers with Deshaun Watson. Again, I'm not saying it's Taylor Heineke's fault, but Taylor Heineke just doesn't have that extra level of making plays. And he doesn't have the trust of the offensive coordinator to even give him the keys to allow him to make such plays. If we had Deshaun Watson yesterday, we win that game. Period. Those extra running out of the pockets and throwing 18-yard dimes to receivers that are fully contested, it's just special. Not everybody can do that, but it seems like, I mean, coming through the draft, more quarterbacks are able to do that now than they used to be. It's still not easy to hit on a franchise quarterback, but it's definitely happening more often lately than it used to ever. But again, I'm more worried about the rest of this team. Since we have a Taylor Heineke right now, we got to figure out how we're going to improve these other parts of the teams, because we just may not have a quarterback that's good enough to make up for all of the weaknesses we have right now. We need to just fix those weaknesses at the core. And then Rivera also addressed the possibility of bringing in more quarterbacks. Basically, as of right now, he's saying that he won't, but we did go and sign a quarterback, Kyle Shermer, to the practice squad. So be on the lookout for that. But as of right now, it looks like Taylor Heineke and Kyle Allen will be the only quarterbacks we go into that Giants game with, which I think is a mistake, because even before the Chargers game, I was looking like, all right, so our only two active quarterbacks are Ryan Fitzpatrick, 38 years old, has a banged up injury history, and Taylor Heineke, who's been quite injury prone so far in his career. Those were our only two active quarterbacks. So if Taylor Heineke got hurt, we were gonna have to go out there with Logan Thomas. And it seems like with Kyle Shermer on the practice squad instead of the active 53, maybe they're just doing their due diligence and they may wait until like Wednesday or Thursday to activate him, just in case it's a third quarterback. But as of right now, it looks like we're going into the Giants game with Taylor Heineke and Kyle Allen as our only quarterbacks. True quarterbacks, at least, because again, Logan Thomas could double up as a quarterback. But first of all, I don't trust Logan Thomas as a quarterback. And secondly, if he's playing quarterback, who's going to be out there balling at tight end for us? So that just takes away a weapon. So, I mean, I guess even though I'm not very high on this Kyle Shermer guy, I feel like he should at least be active just in case the worst happens against the Giants. And then, again, like I said, Ron Rivera is not looking for any more outside help as of right now. Emphasis on right now. You never know, things may change, but that includes Cam Newton. I mean, and the fact that he's had plenty of opportunities to bring in Cam Newton so many times since he's even just been here. So I just don't ever see him bringing in Cam Newton regardless of what's going on. Even if Taylor Heineke and Kyle Allen were to get hurt, it just seems like he's just against bringing in Cam Newton for whatever reason. And if anybody knows Cam Newton, is Ron Rivera. Granted, he wasn't with Cam Newton when he went 8 for 9 in that preseason game for the Patriots, but there's definitely something there that Ron Rivera is okay with just not dealing with right now. But back to Kyle Shermer. If you recognize his last name, yes, he is the son of NFL coach Pat Shermer. He entered the NFL as an undrafted free agent in 2019. He spent his rookie season with Kansas City. He was released before the 2020 season, and then he signed with the Bengals practice squad last year in December, and he was on their practice squad all the way through training camp this year, and then was released, and he's been a free agent until we just picked him up and put him on the practice squad. And college-wise, he spent 3 years at Vanderbilt, threw for 8,865 yards, 64 touchdowns, and 29 interceptions. And he led Vanderbilt to a bowl game in his sophomore and senior season. But he is yet to take a single snap in the NFL. So we'll see how this situation goes. Again, I don't care how bad he is. I think we should still at least have him as the third active quarterback. If we're not going to go and get a Drew Lock or a Gardner Minshew, a Cam Newton or whatever, and I'm not necessarily saying that we should or shouldn't. I'm just saying if facts are facts, if we're not going to go get one of those outside guys, then I think Kyle Shermer should be active on game days, because our other two quarterbacks right now, Taylor Heineke and Kyle Allen, have a rich injury history, and we do not want to be left out there with Logan Thomas as our quarterback. I mean, granted, I feel like if Taylor Heineke gets hurt, I'm so down on Kyle Allen. I'm definitely probably one of the people that's the lowest on Kyle Allen out of the entire fan base. I'm definitely in that bottom tier. I just don't like him much. I don't see much of a ceiling. So I feel like if Taylor Heineke's hurt, we're pretty much going to lose anyway. I mean, we've already seen what Kyle Allen does against the Giants. And just period. I mean, Kyle Allen against the Chiefs, Kyle Allen against the Packers, even with as bad as Aaron Rodgers was, Kyle Allen against the Seahawks. I just don't see that working out anyway. So at this point, it doesn't even matter how good that third quarterback is, because Taylor Heineke gets hurt. I'm not going to necessarily say the season is done. Maybe we reach out and bring in a Cam Newton or somebody, and then they ball out for us. But it's ugly if Taylor Heineke's hurt anyway. But I still feel like we should have 3 active quarterbacks just in case. You never know. Kyle Shermer may just be the chosen one out of nowhere. Maybe he's the next Taylor Heineke. I don't know. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. I appreciate the view. Please like this video if you liked it, if you learned anything. As always, man, I appreciate everybody that supports the channel. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. And as always, I appreciate all of my supporters, everybody that donates to the channel big time, man. Special shouts out to all of my sponsors, especially my Pro Bowl sponsors, whose name you see scrolling on the screen right now. Man, I really appreciate y'all, man. I'll catch y'all later. I'm out.